What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another weekly trading recap video. Now, last week I actually missed the video. I was super busy, some school stuff. I wasn't feeling very well. So we're going to be going over last week's trades and this week's trades. And I took 2 losses in the last 2 weeks in a very, very shaky market, but I was very selective with my plays. So let's hop right into it because we got a lot to talk about. So, in the last video, we were holding Rocket Mortgage calls for expiration of 10/16 on Monday the 21st. See, right around here. Those were a little bit lower. Ended up taking a 50% loss on those. Now, ended up going all the way down like to a 70-80% loss that I noticed. I just kept looking back at it to see. But yesterday they actually were up even, so should have held on to them, but I just took the L, so that is one of the losses that we took. So that's unfortunate. Now, also on Monday, September the 21st, LCA. On LCA here, on the 21st, this first little dip right down here, I took a position that was at 1770 that I took the position, and I actually sold it on this little pop up at $18.45 for a nice little quick trading scalp. Not a very big trade, but singles and doubles win the game. Also, IPOB, this was on September the 21st. I bought this dip under 14, ended up getting it at $13.95, and just a few hours later, we sold it up here at $15.64. That was a very good little trade. Just a intraday bounce there. Now let's skip over to Tuesday. On Tuesday, I didn't make any trades at all. I just watched the market. I could have made some money, but you could have lost some money. I didn't really like the way price action was in a lot of stocks, so I didn't make any trades. Now let's hop into Wednesday. First trade that we made on Wednesday was SPAQ. This is Spartan Energy. I've talked about it in the last few videos. Wednesday the 23rd. I actually bought this dip under 14 right here. I bought 14.93. As you can see, it kept going down. Basically, all the Nikola motor drama and stuff like that basically killed all special acquisition companies that week. If you look at any of the charts, they all followed that same trend all the way down. So I never took the loss on it. We did lose pretty good on it. As you can see, it just kept coming down. But that's just one of those things with this company. I think long term, it has a good outlook. So I held on to those trades on my day trading account, even though they were losing. And actually on Thursday, we ended up adding some more here at 1258 and 1261 to average down on that entry right here on the day trading account. And then we ended up selling it the very next day at 1396 when it hit this little white line here that's going across. That was a little resistance line that I had on the daily chart. And so it couldn't get over that 14 resistance, so that was just a good little sell point to me. Basically, when I bought those shares to average down, that put my average around $13.13. So almost $1 per share trade on that. But we are still holding some in the long-term account from the low 12s. Also on Wednesday, the SPI was an absolutely insane stock. It went parabolic from under $1 to $46.67 at the top. Now, I could have made a lot of money here, but it had a very low flow. I woke up late, didn't see the news until basically when the market opened. And so I didn't play much size on this. Actually, it's very embarrassing. I only bought about 20 shares of it. Just wanted to see what would happen. And so I bought this. There's a little green line running across here. It's very hard to see with all the different moving averages here. But whenever it bounced around here on that moving average 9, we bought 3.69. And then I sold it up here in the 20s. Like I said, I only had 20 shares of it, so it wasn't a very big profit. But the percent gain on it was absolutely insane. So you know what? I will take it. It was a great trade. I wish I had more size. Absolutely insane. Now, as a sympathy to that EV news, Solo, I'm still long on Solo. I think, this has a very good future. The card that they're making is absolutely hideous. I mean, let me just pull it up here. I mean, just look at that thing. It is ugly, but you know what? I'd probably have it just because it's different, So, on the 23rd, as we can see here, basically a lot of the EV stocks were getting hit just because of that SPY. They were all, people were tagging them, shooting them up. So I bought under 250 here. This was some very good support in the last few trading days on the daily. And we bought 245 and 248 here. Actually sold this first little spike up. Sold it at 265. As it came back down, I actually bought some more at $2.50. And the very next day, it absolutely woke up. Very nice hit. Almost a 80-cent per share trade on this. And I actually ended up selling 320 here. I took some profit. And then just to see, if it came back down and went up again. But it ended up not. So then I took the rest of my profit at $2.87 on this trade. Very nice overnight hold. And as you can see, it came right back down to its little support area. And I added some more for a long-term trade on that. And I have been scalping it with its 10-cent swing pretty much every day. Now we're going to move into Thursday the 24th. Back to LCA. So let's find Thursday the 24th. This is, like I said, as we saw the SPAC, SPAQ, all SPACs took a hit. LCA is one that took a hit. I mean, they actually have revenue. I believe that there's no questioning that this is a real company or not. So under 13, that was just such a smart ad to get. I ended up getting a few at like 1280, but honestly, I was sort of greedy. I wanted to go even lower, even though this was a great entry. So my main ad was at $13.08. Later that day, I actually ended up selling some at $13.78 just to secure some, quick profit, because that happened within, just about an hour or two. And then even later that day, we sold at $14.40. This was a great, just like one-day intraday stock trade that we had. So also on Thursday the 24th, we traded AYRO. Basically, it was getting hits just like all the other electric vehicle stocks. Basically, I just figured it was next. A lot of the low float EV stocks were getting hit, popping up, and it did it in pre-market when Solo did, but then it came right back down to its nice little support area here. So, I mean, I had a tight stop on it, but it just seemed like little risk to me. And so I bought 272. My stop was going to be 260 at this point. And just a few hours later, it got hit, popped all the way up to $3.30, but I ended up selling at $3.20. So that was a very, very nice scalp. What else did I trade on Thursday? VISL. So this was whenever some of the riots were starting to get bad again. Took it for an overnight hold. Got a nice little push there on Thursday the 24th. I ended up getting some at $1.28 and $1.33. Had a nice push up, hit this little resistance area around $1.45. There was also some huge shares being asked at that point. $1.44 and $1.45 being held down. The shorts did not want that over it. But we held on to it over the weekend, and I actually ended up selling it on Tuesday at $1.40 just to secure some of that profit because I didn't like the way that it was trading. As you can see, now it came back down. I'm actually eyeing a re-entry on this trade because it is a low flow. It has been beat down. So I feel like it's just a matter of time. And Friday the 25th, closing the day out last week, I only traded one stock. That was SESN. And if you look at the daily chart on this one, get over here to it. The 28th. Wait. The 25th. That was last Friday. Right here, the 25th, it hit this moving average 9 line. And as you can see, it hit it here on Thursday. It held it. Hit it again on Friday and held it. So I bought it right off that MA9. At $1.24 and $1.25 is where I added some shares. Had a nice little pop the last few days, but every single day it came right back down to that 9-day moving average. It did it on this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Before today, it finally broke under, but the stocks opened a little bit lower since Trump tested positive for the coronavirus. So we'll give that one a pass. But every time that it touched this MA9, I bought more, and I actually sold it up top for at least a 10-cent scalp each time. It was just the way it was trading. Now, I still had my shares long from the $1.25 that I added, but then I also, I had extra in my day trading account, and it was just an easy scalper. I mean, up and down this week, I traded it every single day this week, scalping it. It was very, very nice. Let's see. On Monday this week, I didn't make any trades besides SESN scalping. Tuesday is when I sold the VISL. I think I already discussed that. And we also scalped SESN off the moving average 9 here. That's that little green line. On Thursday, the same thing. No, wait, sorry. Wednesday. On Wednesday, we scalped SESN, just as I was saying. And I added ADTX. It's a very low float. I added it at $1.99 and $1.93. It's awaiting some COVID news. And I think that, when it comes out, this could absolutely go parabolic just because of how low the float, how small the float is, I should say. And just waiting on the news. The recent offering was at $4, so I feel like it's just a matter of time with this ticker. And it's just about being patient, and it's actually holding up very well since we added in this $1.90 range. Now, would I like it to come down and test this $1.60? Absolutely. I would load the crap out of it. But until then, I really just looking to add under $1.90 so far. All right, now Thursday the 1st, that is yesterday, we scalped SESN. We also added PIC. This is a acquisition company. I added this at $11.14. It ended up popping up so around $11.70 after that ad. Let's pull it up on a smaller time frame here. This is where I added it, $11.14 on this drop. I could have sold up here for the pop, but basically I just felt like this was a good entry on this acquisition company. Still very early in the merger, so I think it can definitely go a lot higher. And then I didn't expect the drop overnight, but basically just going back and looking at charts, a lot of these acquisition companies are still pretty cheap from that drop. So I went in late yesterday afternoon, about 6:30. Right before the market closed, and I was looking at some charts, and I put in a bid for PIC at $11.12. I put in a bid of HCHC at $10.85. I put in a bid of TRNE at $10.79, and then I also added LCA at $14.10 and $14.05. I woke up this morning, all of those trades absolutely got filled, and they were down, and I was like, oh crap, like what happened? I got on the news, I saw the the Trump stuff, saw the SPY down, and I was like, oh wow. But like honestly, these are acquisition companies, felt like they were going to go back up. All of those trades have entered back into the green, have some great returns today with the size that I have on them. But honestly, I want more out of them. I feel like these are good entries on these acquisition companies, and yeah, like they're great. Like I don't even I'm speechless about them. I think I'm getting an absolutely insane entry on these trades for the outlook of them. Now I will end up scalping them some in between. Actually ended up scalping a little bit of the LCA today because when I noticed it was at 13.83. I think it was actually lower, but I added some at 13.83 this morning when I saw it, and it was up at like 14.60 earlier, and I was like, oh wow, so I went ahead and just sold some of that just because of the size that I had in it. And when you have a lot of size and it goes up $1, you're up a lot. Now, also in between here, I took a trade that I had a win on, but I wouldn't necessarily just count it as a win. It was American Airlines. This was late last week. It was either last Thursday or Friday. I honestly can't remember. Pretty sure it was Thursday, because then Friday. What's my calendar? Hang on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Thursday that I added it, and basically that was the Democrats saying that they were reaching a deal for the airlines. And so I bought a call expiring today, actually, and for a $13 strike price, it was out of the money. I think I paid like 16 cents for it, so $16 an option. It didn't really get a push. Basically, like I bought it around like right here. It got a small push, but it wasn't the push I was really expecting. And so I ended up selling it for the market close just because I didn't want to hold it overnight, because some of these options, especially if you have size on them, you hold them overnight, you can really get burned. So basically I sold them for $17, made $1 each on them. Like percentage wise, it was more than 5%, which is always a good trade. But at the same time, it just wasn't what I expected. But then the very next day, even in after hours, it got a pop. Actually, it ended up popping out at 13.15 here, and I just looked at it, and I got sick to my stomach on that Friday morning because these options were over 100%, and I was like, wow, I should have just grew a pair of nuts. But you win some, you lose some. Basically, we broke even on this one. So yeah, that's going to do it. We basically took 2 losses in the last 2 weeks. We had a lot of good winners. Just very selective. I feel like that is the way to do it right now, especially this volatility leading up to elections. So yeah, folks, catch you next time. Hit the like button, subscribe. I appreciate it. Peace out, guys.